Hi, everybody. This is Dan Sheridan, a weekend update and a look at 3 trade ideas for next week. Trade idea number 1 will be a couple of trade idea 1 and 2 will be in SPX. Trade idea 3 will be in VIX. But the first thing I'd like to do is talk a little bit about if we look at SPX, and really as we look at the last 2-3 weeks, we've been very range bound. It's been good for range bound, other than a couple news days, NVIDIA earnings, and then PCE on Friday. Those are the only big candles, but it's been a range bound paradise. You say, Dan, what do you mean it's been a range bound paradise? If you look at the last 3 weeks, other than news days, which you know, right? You know it's a news day. You said, what do you mean? You know, right? NVIDIA earnings, you know those are big potential movers on the market. PCE, something like that. But if you look at May 13, 26-point range in SPX from the high to the low. May 14th, 33. May 15th, 48. I'm guessing, I haven't looked at that one particularly, tied to a news. May 16th, 29. May 17th, 22. Range bound paradise. Go to the next week. We're off Memorial Day, then 520, 23 points. 521, 26 points. 522, 37 points. 523, 84. But everybody, even your kids, knew NVIDIA. You don't play that day, right? And then the last week, and then 524, 33 points. The last week, 528, 35 points. 529, 20 points. 530, 38 points. 531, 89-point range. That was PCE. So other than the couple big news days, for range bound, it was good. And I would encourage you, after this, if you go to Sheridan Risk Management, I think on one of the top tabs, you can hit subscription, and for less than $200, try it for a month, and you can see we have a class at $9.50, 2 every day, other classes going on during the week, lots of live trades, great practical help for you. And go ahead and do that after we're done here. But what else do I want to mention? Is the week is upcoming. Okay, what should you be looking for during the week? The expected move for the week, because the vols are still relatively low at 12.92, the expected move is 52.16, 53.38. And 53.38, 53.38, interesting enough, is right at the highs, right? The high of all time in the history of civilization is 53.41. So I think that's interesting. So it's plus or minus 61 points. That's key to look at next week. That gives me perspective as I'm going through range-bound trades. We're in a low VIX environment. We've came back in the 12s at the end of the day on Wednesday because we had an update Monday with the PCE thing. Kind of a wild rally at the end of the day. News, nothing really this week. After this week, the week after, you got your PPI, CPI, Fed stuff. It's a lot. So I think overall, this should be a decent range-bound week. Now, 3 trade ideas for this week. Let's start with 2 real quick in SPX, and then I'll move over to VIX. Trade number 1. And again, we closed at 52.77. Maybe the market's going to make one more shot at the highs of 53.41. I don't know. But I still would I'm looking at this June 26, June 21, 5 days between the long and the short. Right here, a calendar, and I would use this expiration. And right now, so if you look at June 21 is about 19 days. if you put it on Thursday, it'll be 15 days till the expiration of the short. If you put it on Tuesday, it'll be 17 days. Doesn't matter. The point is I go about 5 days between the long and the short, and wherever SPX is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, especially if it's over this number, over 5,300, I would put it about, you could see here, again, I'm looking at this on Sunday, we're at 52.77. I'd put it at least 12 to 20 points under the strike. Say, is that a big deal? Not at all. Not at all. Why? This is a $5,200 vehicle. I'm still delta long a little bit. So I'd probably go at least 15 points. If I go to 52.55, I'm neutral. So I'm leaning closer to 15 to 20 points under the market for a calendar with the low VIX, as long as we're in that 12s or lower 13. Trade idea number 2. Now, it's a little bit conditional, especially, right? And I'll give you some parameters, especially if we're more, I'd say over 5,300, right? Let me preface, over 5,300, so we're not far from the highs, 5,341. I would put on a butterfly. Again, you have a couple choices. Even though the VIX is very low, in doing a short Vega trade, butterfly, like many of these strategies, are flexible. Even though short Vega, the way you set it up, you can do in a low vol or high vol. A long Vega trade, depending on how you set it up, you can do in just about any environment. It just depends on how you set it up. But so you look in this particular example, I'm at 52.77. I'm going to set the short strike just a little bit over where we're trading at, especially if you're in the middle. I mean, if we're right at the strike, 52.75 or 52.80, I put it at the strike. I'm going down 70. I'm going up 60, a little bit delta short, right? That's fine, 70, 60. When VIX is 12 to 15 and a half, generally the market's going up a lot more than it's going down. And so this type of trade does very well. You say, Dan, why does it do real well? You have $1,685 of risk on the downside, $685 on the upside. It's more palatable. I don't even know how to spell that, but it's more palatable on the upside, that type of structure. When the VIX gets over 15 and a half, 16 or higher, we're starting to go down. I need a warmer blanket in the winter. I'm going to do the Sherman tank, which would be a 70.65. What does that mean, 70.65? We're just talking about the distance from the short to the lower strike call, that's 70. The distance from the short to the upper strike call is 60. I call that a 70.60. The bigger number is always the risk and the downside. When I do a Sherman tank, the Sherman, that's a 70.65. What does that mean? The distance from the in-the-money long strike, 52.10, to the short strike, 52.80 is 70. Make my upper strike long 53.45. That's 60 points. So 70, 65. The higher number is your risk on the downside, but that's getting me a little shorter deltas. I don't normally look at these till we're 15 and a half, because here's the reality. If we're 12 or 13 or 14, you may have an opinion which way we're going, but we're not going down. We're going up. Show me where we've corrected in the market at VIX 12, 13, 14. It's not happening. So I don't mind doing in this particular case, this is a June 28th. So it's about a 28-day fly. So, and I'll be in our 9:50 Eastern class. We'll do 0-day trades. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about live trade ideas. We'll see what the market's doing next week. The 2 p.m. class, we do more classes managed by the Greeks. We're doing right now kind of 3K, 10% type classes, looking at trades when we're near market highs. And that's really how we trade at Sheridan or Risk Management, what type of trades we do regardless of what the market's doing. We're doing a class on short-term iron condors. And we're also doing a class on, what's the fourth class now? Managed by the Greek, short-term iron condors, trades at market highs. Oh, the combo trade. This is the last week of these classes. We've been doing them for 7 weeks. We're going to have new classes starting not this week, but the week of Monday, the 10th. Now, what else? If you go to VIX, if we get under 12.5 in the cash, right? Now, 90% of the time, Monday morning, VIX is going to end up higher, right? It's going to trade higher, just the way it is. I was a market maker specialist at the CBOE for over 20 years. That's just how it happens, right? We lower volatilities at the end of the day on Fridays because there's more sellers, and then we just raise them Monday because the sellers aren't there anymore. So we'll be up a little bit Monday, but as we get Monday or Tuesday under 12.5, I'd be looking for something like this, minimum July 7, July, what do we got here? 17. I want to have enough time here, like a 14.18 for 81 cents. I want to make so that would be betting the VIX goes up. July is a big earnings cycle. So I think that'll be, I mean, you had a chance. I think we got the 14.5. So we had done some VIX a couple weeks ago, did well, but Friday they came down. So I'd be looking at, if we get under 12.5, July 17, 14.18 for about 81 cents. So folks, if you have any questions, you can email me, Dan at SheridanRiskManagement.com. Go to Sheridan Risk Management, hit subscription, sign up for a month. We'd love to have you and help you be a better craftsman. Have a good rest of the weekend, which is a few hours, and we'll see you later. Thanks.